Probably ready. Hey, homeroom. This is Carolyn Helenski. Carolyn, welcome to my senior homeroom today. Carolyn graduated Upper Marion in 2016, so she just got out of college in the oh, you were. You know what? It just dawned on me. You graduated college in the middle of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, I didn't have a graduation.
You did have one.
Oh, I did not, no.
No, you did not. Oh, well, welcome to the club. Hopefully, are they going to? Do you think when this is over, they're going to do something, or is that it?
They alluded to it, but at this point, I'm I'm over it. I cried my tears. I'm ready to move on.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
spend what 3.5 years at Pitt, and then the COVID hits, and then yeah, I didn't mention you went out to Pitt. So let's backtrack to Upper Marion. Of course, I had you in class, I think twice. I think I had you for pre-calc, and then I had you for statistics,
Yep.
and then you babysat my daughter as well, who's well, she's almost at the age she doesn't even need a babysitter anymore. Um,
Oh.
but can you tell us about like your transition from high school to college and maybe why you picked Pitt and what that was like looking at different colleges?
Yeah, so I heard about Pitt because Mrs. Darnell went there, and a lot of kids from Upper Marion go to Pitt, but Mrs. Darnell was, no offense, my favorite teacher in high school, and so we would have lunch together here and there. And when I was dropping school names, she was like, "Oh, you have to look at Pitt." And at that point, senior year, I was stuck between becoming a teacher or doing something called speech language pathology, and both my parents are obviously teachers at the high school, so that's always been in my head. But when I found out about speech pathology, it seemed really like individualized teaching, that one-on-one aspect. So I looked into that. I applied to Pitt. I got in, and yeah, I mostly decided on Pittsburgh because I thought it was the perfect distance from King of Prussia. I think just growing up around the same people, I really valued that community, but I wanted something different. So it was it.
Oh, that's cool. And you didn't apply anywhere. Well, how many? I'm sure you applied to some other schools, but Pitt was
I
your
did.
first choice.
Yeah, so I applied to like Bloomsburg, Penn State, University of Delaware. I think I applied to Westchester. Um, I applied to one fun school. I think I applied to the University of Tennessee because I was like, oh, let's see what happens.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Pitt was my number one, and when I visited, I fell in love. And then I also had an opportunity to walk onto the track team there, so that was huge for me, being able to continue sports into college.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're beyond laundry distance. Like, Westchester, laundry, Bloomsburg, I guess you could drive a couple hours. You're not driving 5 hours for laundry though. You're kind of you're out there.
yeah, and I thought that was perfect because like I really wanted to be somewhere different, but it's still in-state tuition. It's still close enough I could come home for Thanksgiving. And also since I had some good friends go there, that definitely influenced, or at least made me feel a little bit more at home while I was
Yeah,
away.
I feel like we have a pipeline to Pitt. In fact, there's
Me
like I think you're the third graduate I I've interviewed who went out to Pitt, and it's
too.
yeah, I mean it's still in the state, but man, it's you're practically in Ohio out there.
Yeah, it feels different. So that's nice. I like that for sure.
Hey, you mentioned your parents, and I'll ask you this now that you're 5 years out,
Yeah.
because I have this coming up in about 40. In 5 years, my daughter's going to be at the high school, and God willing, I'll still be there. It'll be a new high school. Do you have any advice for me with my daughter heading to the high school? It's a unique situation where your parents are teachers.
Yeah, I will say in retrospect, my parents did a great job, but while I was living it, I just was angry the whole time. Like
Yeah.
for
Did
things
you
they
feel
did.
like an added pressure maybe because they're in the building or?
Yeah, I think what frustrated me the most was that before people actually like got to know me, they already knew about me through my parents. So like there were all these expectations that I thought people had for me that I wanted to live up to, and also like still wanted to be like a crazy teenager and whatever. So
Yeah, so
that
it's a little, yeah, like it's funny. My daughter's friends say, "Oh, is Kelsey going to be in your class?" I'm like, I think they kind of avoid that, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not like,
yeah.
I'm like,
But
I
for
have no
me,
control over that. So
right. Yeah, and I think my parents they did do a good job. They just kind of left me alone and tried to be professional about it.
why
But I was mad at
you're pretty responsible. I mean, I had you in class. You're you're a pretty responsible student. So I don't think they had a lot to worry about. No, that's my perspective anyway. Hey, so tell me about speech language. Did I get it right? Speech language pathology? Is that what it is?
Yep. Speech language pathology.
So what like kind of career, like what would you actually be doing? Like describe that to me.
Sure. So an easier way to think of it is like speech therapy. So a lot of kids, you wouldn't even know that they had speech therapy issues as kids. My brother had one. Probably a lot of your students might have. So basically, kids, when they're developing language, some people acquire it sooner or later than others. So it's just guiding them, giving them extra like practice and help to develop proper language for English. And I could get really detailed, but you can do it in schools. That's like what I just talked about. So school therapists, you can work in hospitals, you can work at home health, actually go to people's homes. You can work in like skilled nursing facilities, all these types of things, but basically helping people with various types of disorders and lots of populations just speak and communicate more confidently and effectively.
Hey, let me change gears because we connected through Facebook. That's how I got a hold of you. I know I put like back in August, I put this thing out calling all alumni who wants to come back. Yeah. And I noticed you've done a ton of, looks like you did a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
You want to describe some of what you've done since you left Upper Marion?
Sure. Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I actually went on Mr. Sconier's trip in high school. That's what gave me like the travel bug. So does he still do that? I don't know if he would know.
Well, not during COVID, but I'm sure he will once this is over.
Right. You're right. But I got the opportunity in high school to go to Germany, France, and Spain with some classmates. And like after that, I was hooked. So instead of going to senior week, I went to Ireland with my grandmother, and my parents appreciated that one. So that was great. And then I actually had an opportunity my sophomore year of college to go back to Ireland and do some interdisciplinary healthcare with people with traumatic brain injuries. So that was really neat.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a cool experience. I studied abroad a lot in college. I like more than most, which is crazy given my athletic schedule. But I went to Vienna, Austria, Dublin in Ireland. I went to Italy, and then I also got the chance to go to Israel this past year.
Wow, that's cool. I'm jealous. I got over to Conshohocken a few weeks ago. That's
yeah, but I think I just like really appreciated my opportunities to study abroad, and I think that if people are interested in that, they should definitely look for different kinds of programs before they even apply to these schools, because they are all available online and you can kind of gear your schedule and your interests towards those things.
Cool. Hey, by the way, you were at Pitt, now you're at West Virginia.
Yeah.
What's that like? Is it hard to apply to grad school? Is it much different going from to apply to college and then to apply to grad school? Is it easier or harder? Describe the process?
Sure. I would say that they're all difficult in their own ways, but the older you get, like it's just different challenges depending on what level you're at. So what was really challenging about applying to grad school, oh, sorry, were you about to say something?
Nope. Go ahead, you're good.
It was difficult solely because the amount of essays I had to write were like much more than from high school to undergrad. Like undergrad to grad school was a lot of essays. I had to actually interview for this position here. Just kind of collecting, like it takes 4 years to build up like a resume that will impress the graduate program. So that was something that I really had to make sure I focus on throughout undergrad.
Okay. And what's life like in Morgantown, West Virginia?
I love it. I thought that the yeehaws were gonna hate me. I thought I was gonna get like run out of here, but I've been really fortunate even during COVID to meet some really great people. They showed me like just nice little spots. There's a lot of outdoor opportunities. Like if I look outside my window right now, I'm by a river. So I think I actually did a great job of picking schools that piqued my interest, because I love cities, and Pitt really, Pitt became like such a great city school for me. And then I've really become interested in like backpacking and hiking recently. So I come here and I drive 2 hours and I'm in like the backcountry of West Virginia, and I can go hiking, camping with my friends, and it's perfect. So
you're in the back country. you could get to the back. I didn't even know West Virginia had a front country, let alone go to a back. I thought it was all back country.
It's pretty rural. But
West Virginia is like my go-to state if I need to make fun of somewhere. It's just, and you know, I have very little. I've only been there. The only time I spent in West Virginia, I went whitewater rafting, and it was actually awesome. It was the New River and the Gauley River. It was like they had incredible gorges, and
The
it
New
was, I
River.
remember it was dangerous. We had to take a guide. Like they're like, you can't go down this by yourself. We had to have it was like 7 or 8 of us in a huge raft with we had to hire a guide. But that was like a bunch of years ago. So I'm sure that was part of your backcountry experience going down there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about with the New River Gorge. It's beautiful. So.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. So maybe I should make fun of West Virginia, and those of you who've had me in school know that when we graph secant and cosecant, I describe the graph using West Virginia, but I shouldn't get into that here. Certainly not when we're recording this. That would be inappropriate. Hey, Carolyn, it was great to have you here in homeroom. So thanks. Don't be a stranger. You know, we have a new high school, so you got to come back and visit that.
Oh my God, that's gonna be so weird for me. I grew up in that high school.
Yeah. Well, right now, I haven't been in the high. Well, actually, I popped over there about a month ago, but we haven't had class there in 7 months, and the whole campus is ripped apart, so you wouldn't really recognize it probably. But yeah. But thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.